It is incredible how many of these lanterns they have hanging up here in this Buddhist temple area. I mean, I've never seen anything quite like it. It's just amazing. I kind of knew this place existed, but honestly, I had never been here because I didn't know exactly where it was. And truthfully, I keep thinking to myself, you know, for all the years I spent living here in Korea and then in Seoul, it's amazing how little tourist stuff I actually did. This Buddhist temple isn't actually a tourist thing per se, but a lot of people do come here because it is really pretty, especially when they put up all the lanterns. And it's somewhere that I had thought about visiting, but I just didn't know exactly where it was. But this brings me to today. I'm actually in this area of Seoul called Insadong, which I almost never come to. But this is where a lot of the tourist stuff happens. It's a little bit kitschy. You know, a lot of things are here for people that are just visiting that want to see, you know, Korean culture. And I thought I would just come over and check it out a bit. Like I said, it was great because I got to see that temple right there, which I'd never seen. And I'm just going to kind of walk around. Well, there is a line outside this place this morning. No idea why. But that seems kind of typical here. If something gets really trendy or popular, everybody wants to go. Now I am actually headed up to another cafe in this neighborhood, which might be kind of super touristy, but I hope not. I hope it's not a line like that. Then I'll just probably find myself a little Paris baguette or something, you know, local that's won't have a line. I hate queuing up. If you were to just take the subway over here, you would get off at Angguk Station, which again is probably the easiest way if you're a tourist to get here, although you could take a bus as well. That's what I did this morning, and it's a little bit more comfortable sometimes. My God, it's another queue for something. I am really getting worried about this queuing thing. Oh my God, that's the cafe I was gonna go in. But I did find this place, I think on YouTube or Instagram. I think lots of people have talked about it. It's called The Onion, and it's a like little coffee shop bakery. And the unique thing about it is that it looks like a traditional Korean house, the Hanok style. Against all my better judgment, I jumped in the line and waited. After all, I had some time to kill and hadn't eaten breakfast. It took over an hour to get inside for takeout, and while the baked goods and desserts looked delicious, it wasn't worth the difficulty of sweating outside in the heat. There are so many amazing cafes all over the city, so I recommend finding one that isn't so busy with influencers taking selfies and posing with pastries. When you think about it, this is the double-edged sword of social media and these navigation apps that we all use nowadays, because we can look up and find where things are so much easier, and people are constantly talking about where they've been, what they've done. And this is great, especially if you don't know anything about where you're traveling to. But it also means that everyone is kind of looking at the same thing and thinking to do the same stuff everywhere they go, which just makes it more crowded for a lot of these places. Here we are at the palace I wanted to come to today, and they also have a queue lined up. I guess it opens at 9 and it's just about that time right now. All right, I'm finally in the palace. This one is called Changgyeonggung, and it's not the largest. The big one is actually just down the street, not very far. You could probably walk over to it if you wanted to. but I enjoy this one a lot more. I think it's prettier. You can actually sign up for a tour of the gardens in the back, which I highly recommend. I've done it once. I'm not going to do it this time, but you have to sign up for it. It's substantially more money. I think it's $3 to enter and then $8 more to do the tour. But it is gorgeous back there with all the plants and the traditional buildings. And there's some small lakes and stuff too. No, I just like the layout of this one better, and it's not quite as big, not quite as popular, so you still get crowds, but not like the hordes that go to the other one. According to the information center, they also do some performances here, I think twice a day, 2 and 4, something like that. Kind of a throne room back in there. All right, let's keep going. It's been a while since I've been here. Okay, now one of the buildings up here is a great spot for a photo. Pine trees look fantastic here too. I love how there's all these like little areas to check out, different small alleyways and all right, this kind of frequently happens with these palaces too. They have maintenance work and they tell you what they're doing. It's not always the best thing in the world if you're coming here to visit, but I understand why they have to do it. These palaces really were just small cities. They're so big, so much to explore. So this building right here is another favorite to take photographs of. It is pretty cool because it actually has two kind of buildings connected there, two roofs. The sun's kind of at the wrong angle. It's behind the buildings. You're going to want to wait until it's over there facing these two to really get a nice picture. So right behind me, that's where the tour for the garden starts. And the garden actually takes up probably more than 50% of this area, of this palace. So again, definitely worth doing. I just didn't really want to spend the time because it takes a little while to walk through there and it's only guided, so you must go with a group. This area that I'm in right now, this is also a really cool little spot. Already seeing some people dressed up in the traditional Korean hanbok outfits, getting photos done. Starting to get a bit more crowded. A lot of people getting ready to go on their tour of that garden. And I'm gonna go down this other way over here. I don't think I've actually been to this section. I think last time I was here, it was one of those renovation projects they were doing and they'd closed it off. So I'm not quite sure what's over here. Oh, that's kind of a cool grove of trees here. They're coming out of these concrete blocks here. Oh, this is a cool little area here. Little house with a courtyard. Well, this definitely feels a lot more like a residence. A family would have lived here. So over here you can actually walk up these stairs and take a look inside the building here. I was attacked and run off by children there. They're okay though, you know, being kids. This again is my favorite part, is all these little tiny narrow alleyways with just these really cool roofs and buildings coming down, little walls, plants growing out of the walls. Definitely this is going to be where I live later in life. Feels like you've entered a different time period, right? And watch these low doors. People like me can't get through them very easily. See where we're going now. Think this way. Get lost back here pretty easily. Wow. Later on toward the front, I didn't go there yet, toward the entrance of this palace, there's another really cool spot that I'll walk through with you because it is kind of like that, like a maze, but it's even more mazier. It's a lot of narrow streets that kind of intertwine with little tiny doors. And all right, this little area was a lot of fun actually. I did not expect that. Something that's really nice about a place like this is everyone is out here taking photos and videos because it is a popular tourist destination. So if you're like me and you make videos when you're traveling and just of your daily life, vlogging, whatever it is, it's not so awkward because people just understand what you're doing. Maybe some of them don't. But yeah, you blend in more with the crowd with your big camera out, or your small camera in my case. It's starting to get really, really bright and hot out here today. So I think I'm not going to walk around too much more just because don't want to melt. And my intention today, honestly, was not to come out and walk everywhere. It was really just to kind of relax and, you know, enjoy the Hanok style, this older Korean building look, because I really do like it. All right, that's toward the entrance, and then over here I think is where we can go into some of these very crowded alleys and streets. Wow. It's hard to describe how narrow this is, and there's 3 doors. Which one? Maybe we'll just go straight. This is the perfect spot because so few people actually come back to this part of the palace. I feel like they all go for the bigger areas, and this one back here just kind of gets ignored, so people come back here and get a lot of their photos as well. That house right behind me actually had stuff set up inside of it so you could actually see what it might have looked like with some tables, chairs, bookshelves, stuff like that. And there's also a moat that runs along here, which is empty. I don't think they ever have water in it, actually. Maybe they do, but I've never seen that. Yeah, I've always liked this section better than the busy, crowded areas with the big buildings. And it's always quieter. And right behind me is actually the exterior wall of the palace. So right behind that is just the city. I needed this shade. I don't think I realized how much I needed it until right now. The other nice thing about having all these houses closely built together, this little village here, is that there's lots of roofs that go overhead to provide plenty of shade. And there's places to sit down as well. So I think I'm going to go ahead and do that so I can drink some water and rest. Those tend to be the two things that I always forget about: wearing sunscreen and staying hydrated. So I really got to drink more water, especially when it's this hot out. Well, are you guys Hanukked out yet? Have you seen enough traditional Korean architecture for the day, or even for a lifetime? Nah, I could come back here though all the time and just enjoy this. Let's see if I can figure out how we get out of here. I think I may have just walked myself into a circle, kind of. And I went back a little bit, but that's okay. Because that's that big throne room behind me. But we'll get out of here, because now I do actually think I need a bit of real caffeine, aka a coffee shop instead of a convenience store. Thanks for joining me today. Life's a journey meant to be shared. Remember to always travel with an open heart and an open mind. Enjoy the ride and keep your eyes on the horizon for the next adventure. I'll see you out there.